Well, hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing
Very
great. How
good.
you doing,
Thank
Paul?
you.
Doing great. Thank you so much. So happy to have you both on with us today. We're here deep in the heart of Texas, in Dallas. Of course, John, we saw you for some film events here a few years ago.
You
Uh,
mean the 40th anniversary thing at
that's right.
next?
AFI. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that show has grown really, really big. People keep asking me why I'm not there. Well, I talked to what's his first name? Dwyer. Anyway, the guy that runs it, but he's got so many people now. It's huge.
Oh yeah, Texas Frightmare, Lloyd Cryer. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and of course, Charlie, we'd love to have you in as well. But
Love it.
we're excited to talk about this because this kind of borders our great state, and this is a crazy true story that we just can't seem to wrap our heads around the way our our lives are now. What a wild and interesting time that you guys both had to draw from, right?
I really liked the John Wayne movie. So did George Romero. In fact, what he was what he was listening to on his deathbed, The
Mhm.
Quiet Man, the soundtrack from The
Interesting.
Quiet Man. But we both were fans of those movies. Some of the scenes that I wrote for the night they came home, I actually alluded to that these guys have this body of this deputy on their horse, and I wanted to see the whole vista. It's almost like it's romanticizing the locations and the milieu of the classic Western, but yet these evil things are going on, you know.
Mm.
And there were scenes that the director did that way, and everybody involved with the film I thought did a great job,
Yeah,
including
absolutely.
Charlie.
And
Yeah, it's
Charlie,
kind of fun. The whole business, it's fun, it's aggravating,
you're
it wrecks people's marriages and everything else. But
Oh,
you know, if you love it, you keep going.
yeah, that's right. Well, Charlie, this is quite a undertaking for you, being the first big role, and
yeah.
with all these with this great talent and the responsibility of telling a story of someone that existed in real life. So you had a lot going on, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it's yeah. It was something new. So it was every day was something new. It was not only first role. It's leading a film and leading guys who have, in a sense, been doing this before I was born. Not even in a sense, but just have been doing it before I was born. So yeah, it was definitely something fun, and just it was a big learning experience, without a doubt.
Hmm. And did each of you have a particular memory from the set that you think you'll always take with you? Like, oh, this is a special day.
Well, I wasn't on the set.
Okay.
I didn't direct. I wasn't on the location, so Charlie can tell you more about that than I.
Yeah.
I mean, each day kind of came with its own fun and surprises. But for the most part, getting to work with my idols, Carradine, Brian Austin Green, and Trejo, but each, I can't say one was better than the other or not. It's just each day was like, oh, this is something. Riding a horse, the gunplay. It was, yeah.
Hey, Charlie, were you able to ride horses before getting in the movie?
Was I able to? Yes. Did I ever? No. So we had to find out if I was able to.
Because
And
I've heard stories about people that, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that, whether it's a motorcycle or a
right,
horse or a TV or anything. And it turns out then, in the
right.
case, I know one person that said that, yeah, I can do car stunts, didn't even have a driver's license.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think I've had it on my resume. Horse, can ride a horse. Probably even put a Wrangler on my resume.
I love it. Well, John, you came out of the gate many years ago, so strong and made such an impact, and people have been looking up to you for years. And Charlie, this is really inspirational that you were able to come out for a first role like this. And so, what advice would each of you give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps and do what you do?
Take it away, John.
Me first or what?
Yeah.
The main thing is you have to give your all to it every step of the way, and that's why, it does take a toll. And because the business, it's just it's fair. Making a movie is one of the toughest things that you could ever do in your whole life, and people don't realize that. And you have these charlatans and fake people, the people that are the exploiters, and I always say that they think because it's the entertainment business, it should entertain them.
Mm.
In other words, they don't have to work very hard. They just want the adulation and the notoriety and the so-called fame, and they want the women and they want all the perks. And getting the work done is on the bottom of their list. And the other thing they want to do, if I'm not going on too long about this, a lot of them, I have one motto when I'm putting a project together. My thing is, it either works for all of us or it works for nobody. So if I'm doing something for spec and I ask you to do it for spec, all right. But the charlatans only want it to work for them, and they don't care if you go down with the ship.
Man.
Just they work everybody around to where it benefits them. And most of the time that helps destroy a project.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of those. What would you say, Charlie?
Yeah, no, that's a hard follow-up to that answer because I mean he hit it on the head. It's a constant grind. It's on the actor side, it's like, and I'm sure even on the writer side and a lot as well. There's a constant having to prove yourself. It's even though, I can do this film, but then I'm gonna have to send in another audition tape for another film, and and show you guys I can do it again, and I can do it again, and just constantly proving yourself. And but yeah, and it's what John said. It's kind of weaving through the fakes and weaving through the people who are really just out there for themselves and not looking to collaborate and create art, but more or less just try to have a fun Friday night and use the movie as the way to do it. So it's really sticking to the art and just trying to stay your path and create fun movies, and because it's not easy. It is not easy to make a film.
And no matter what you do, it is a constant battle for respect and the chance to do more or different things. It really doesn't get any easier.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to believe in yourself a whole hell of a lot, and you have to have the zeal to want to do this, or you're just not gonna. And you have to keep learning. Charlie said before, he had a chance to learn from all these people that have fairly big credits and so on, which doesn't always matter, but you're working with all these different people with different perspectives and different abilities, and they've all had some reasonable success. I just got done doing an interview where, I put Lawrence Tierney was in my movie Midnight, and it was one of my real films. I learned a lot from Lawrence Tierney about acting and about directing actors. Pay attention, and don't let your ego get in the way. You can constantly learn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well said. My co-host Drew Pearson, you might know, is one of our great Dallas Cowboys, NFL in the Hall of Fame. Caught the Hail Mary. He wanted me to make sure I asked both of you your Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. Charlie, I know this is probably it for you so far, but John, man, you probably had a few Hail Marys, right?
I have one major thing whenever, first of all, we get in the case of Night of the Living Dead, we're already getting more famous than we realize, but we're also getting cheated out of every penny. And so we were ripped off for millions and millions of dollars. Then our company fell apart. So then Russ Striner and I, with Rudy Ritchie, formed New American Films, And then we had a brokerage that was going to raise $1.5 million for us to do 2 movies, and a bomb went off in the guy's car, the president. And so, you know, and the guy setting the bomb blew his own arm off. So the president of the brokerage wasn't killed. The FBI was coming after us because by that time he had stolen $15,000 from us. So now the FBI thought we were behind the bomb plot. See what I mean? It just keeps going and it keeps going. And through all that, so then at one point I said, "Well, shit! Now our money's gone. Our investors ran for the hills. What am I going to do?" My friend Lou Grippo owned Pittsburgh's oldest tavern, the original Oyster House. He was also an attorney. I said, "I got to have an attorney because I can't use these guys' attorney." The bomb went off in his car, you know. And how am I going to survive in the meantime? And Lou said, "Well, I'll give you a job tending bar, and you'll still have time to write." And I said, "Okay." I was going to start tending bar, and then I thought, I'll never get back to writing or making films if I start that, because if you don't just dedicate yourself all the way, you know, if it doesn't become your life, then it's not going to be your life. If that wasn't too long of a spiel, I'm sorry.
I like how you ended it.
It's fascinating, right, Charlie?
No, it's there are a few Hail Marys in that story.
Yeah.
From the bump to everything. No, it's no, that's great. That's great, John.
Yeah. So I guess this is probably your Hail Mary, right? Just going for it, just doing it, right?
Yeah. It's there's the Hail Marys within Hail Marys. You know, it was even to going to do the audition, which I kind of was like considering the night before not going in, and I had some other things going on, but I was like, yeah, why not? And yeah, I think it's.
You mean you were going to skip the audition?
I very much was. It was like, I think they had called me and they're like, "Hey, we want you to come and do a cold read." I was like, "A cold read?" And they want me to come and drive. I think it was, where was it? Somewhere in the valley.
Anyway.
You know, I'm like, gotta go to the valley. Oh, you know. So it was a lot of things that were piling up, and I'm like, I don't know. And then my buddy's like, "Dude, what are you talking about? You know you're gonna want to go." So I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And you know, show up. I actually think I came with my cowboy hat and cowboy boots and all that too. So I was ready. I was prepped. You know, you just ready to throw my Hail Marys in there.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Thank you,
did
John.
hell of a good job as part. You know, I thought, Danny, I said to Patrick Durham was the producer. I said, it's a good thing that Danny Trejo had such a tremendous charisma and did such a great part with that wraparound, because otherwise it would have fallen on its ass. You know, it was pretty long.
Yeah.
But he pulled it off. He does have a hell of a charisma. You know, he does.
Oh yeah, we love Danny. He's great. Well, you know, part of getting through all this is that sort of success mindset that you have to have, whether you're feeling it or not. And as you know, there's ups and downs, like we said. Is there something that each of you tell yourself that kind of keeps you on that right path, even when things are tough?
You just have to, you know, once you reach a certain level of craftsmanship, like I don't usually sweat the blocking and the pacing and all that kind of stuff, because I'm so skilled with it by now. I started out, I was lousy with it. I was a basket case, you know. But then when you grasp certain things, there are certain points that might elude you when you first start out, because there aren't very many good teachers in the business either. You know, that's what I found. And so you have to absorb it by osmosis and just you know, there's so many insights that you have to have. Once you get to a certain level, certain things come naturally and they don't panic you anymore. And I guess that's what I could say about that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know, it's keeping a positive mindset for the most part for me. And John, again, I might have to start taking these questions first because your answers are just, it's hard to follow him up. I mean, he's right too. He's, you
Don't
kind
worry about
of no,
Bob.
you take in osmosis. You just kind of day to day, you just kind of you live it, and you just try to you learn with each passing day. But yeah, I just try to tell myself everything's happening for the best, whether you like it or not. It's all for the best, and you just try to put that foot forward.
The whole thing, Ray Lane, who was in the second movie we made, the second feature movie right after it was called, it released as The Affair, but anyway, he was a longtime friend of ours, and he got the lead in that movie, and he was a very good actor. But he used to always talk about and doing your homework.
Yes.
You know, if you don't know your lines, it's really, really hard. And let me ask you this, Charlie. Like,
Yeah.
the job of searching for the right delivery, the right emphasis on the right word, and all that I'm sure you have to get into that, wouldn't you?
You say what you say. You have to share them. Have to what?
Like, okay, just finding the right voice for the lines.
Oh,
The real meaning behind the words, because
you kind of, I feel like you kind of have an idea coming in, but you're right. If you don't know your lines, because you want to have an idea, but you want to throw that idea away once action's called. You kind of just want to, I know my lines, and now there's a whole energy that comes into the scene. Like you can practice your lines all day long, the days or weeks prior, but once you're on set and there's another actor on the other side. There, you actually might have the gun in your hand now. There's a dead body in front of you. So you kind of throw away what you're prepared, but you also, those lines. So you're ready to deliver in any way you can. And that just fits the moment. So it's just being able to throw it away.
I don't, I rarely use storyboards. Some people just swear by storyboards, but I know once you get on location, it's going to look different. And
every time
you're going to see some aspect of that location that's going to maybe inspire a whole other way of shooting it. Then the actors themselves, like the actors that you get there, Charlie, and now you're playing off of each other, and that changes things because somebody's going to just come up with some unique thing that's great, hopefully.
Right.
The serendipity. But the serendipity can't really happen unless you really know what you're doing and know your lines and feel comfortable with it. If you're struggling, you're almost killing half the serendipity and inspiration.
If you're conscious about your lines, you can't be conscious about your character. So you just have to be able to throw all that away so your character can breathe and live instead of the actor on stage being seen. I want to give Rufus the respect, not Charlie the respect when once action's called.
Yeah. Well said. After this, I'm excited to see what both of you guys have coming up next. What can we expect from you?
What do I have coming up?
Yeah.
Well, we just yesterday I picked up DVDs on. It's a story of my career. It's called My Life with the Living Dead. Because that film has threaded its way through all my projects and my whole life, and so it's going to premiere in about 2 weeks. About 10 days at a big convention in Pittsburgh called Horror Realm. It's going to be shown again at another big convention. It's a lot of people are wanting to show it at their film. These are 2 film festivals, and it's. I think it's really good. It'll teach people a lot of things they don't know about me. And I spoke at George Romero's funeral in Toronto, and I got a standing ovation for what I said, and they printed several of the lines that I spoke about him in the full page ad in Variety when he got his star on the Walk of Fame. But that portions of that speech are in this documentary, but also I was doing commentary tracks for something, one of my films, and the guy shooting and interviewing, he said, "Well, you're one of these guys they're going to have to drag off of a movie set one of these days." And I said, "Well, I never wanted to retire, or never intended to, still don't, and I'm just going to keep going. And you can rest when you're dead. It even gets easier."
There you go.
All
It
you
gets
have to
easier.
all you have to do is lie there and rot. So anyway, go ahead, Charlie.
Tyler.
That's
We're
great.
seeing some good stuff coming up soon, Charlie.
Yeah. I actually just got back in town and back into LA. I was in Connecticut for about a month, shooting. Literally just got back in last night. So I'm excited for that one. I don't know. I believe I'm not allowed to say too much about it just yet. We just finished filming, but I'm excited for everyone to see that one for sure. Got some great co-stars in it. Had a great director. It was really fun shooting, and I think you'll be hearing about it pretty soon. And then got something else working up too that I need to that we're actually just starting to get going. So yeah, a lot of things happening, a lot of wheels turning. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Love it. Well, thank you guys so much. What's
As
that?
far as what I'm going to, Patrick Dorham, the producer of he likes the script I wrote called "The Passion, Pleasure, and Pain," and it's a crime story, but with a lot of twists and turns and suspense that might remind people of Hitchcock or Brian De Palma. Although I hate to compare myself to other people, but that's what it is, and that's what he says he wants to do next. But it's not signed or anything. So I still have to wait for a green light on that.
Might give Patrick a call then too. Great guy, love Patrick as well. And then also shout out to James O'Brien, who also co-write the screenplay too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for your time, and can't wait to see all of those things. We tell everyone to check this out, and look forward to talking to both of you again soon.
Thanks,
Well,
Paul.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Charlie.
you. All
Thanks,
right, we'll
Paul.
see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.